Well, learned audience or the learners, today in my lecture I propose to discuss another part of guardianship, that is natural guardians of the property of minor. As I have already discussed, who are the persons entitled to be the guardian of the person of a minor, having regard to the age and sex of the minor. At the same time, in my previous lecture, I tried to explain that along with the guardianship, custody is also a right which is normally given to the mother, or in the absence of mother, some female relations. And in what circumstances custody terminates? When the person entitled to the custody becomes disentitled to the right to the custody. All these things I have already discussed. Means the natural guardianship with regard to the person of a minor I have already discussed in detail, with reference to some of the leading decisions of the high courts as well as the Supreme Court. Today I would like to discuss natural guardians of the property of the minors, because already I have explained that guardianship is a legal concept, and the guardianship has been classified into guardianship of the person as well as the guardianship of the property. So, who can be the guardianship of the persons under different circumstances? What are the different aspects of the guardianship of the person of a minor? Now, I move to explain natural guardians of the property of the minors. Expression natural guardian of the property of minor here means the person legally entitled to have the care and protection of the property of the minor. On the basis of this, his relation, because of his natural relation with the minor, that is connection of the guardian by blood with the minor. So, who is the natural guardian of the property of the minors or the minors? As a general rule, any person who is legally entitled to take the care and protection of the property of a minor is normally known as a natural guardian or lawful guardian of the property of the minor or minors. So, natural guardianship basically is based on the natural relation of the guardian with his minor child, and the natural relation basically and normally arise out of the valid blood connection between the two persons. Therefore, when a person is connected to the minor by valid blood, then such person is said to be the natural, maybe the natural guardian of the person or the property of the minor. Therefore, any person who is connected to the minor by blood and is required by law at the same time to take care or supervision, protection of the property of the minor, such person is said to be the natural guardian of the property of minor. The concept of the guardianship of the property of the minors is based on the some verses of the Holy Quran which are enshrined in chapter 4, that is known as Surah Nisa. Therefore, the concept of the guardianship of the property of a minor under Muslim law is rooted in chapter 4 verse 2, chapter 4 verse 6, as well as chapter 4 verse 156 of the Holy Quran. And if one goes through these verses of the Holy Quran, one will arrive on the conclusion that the person lawfully given, or the person who is having lawful right or legal right to take care of the property, and also at the same time who is entitled to the protection of the property of the minor, such person, if is related by blood, such person may be called as a natural guardian of the property of the minor. Now, who are the legal guardians or natural guardian of the property of the minor under Muslim law? According to the Hanafi law, following are legal guardians of the property of a minor in order of priority. According to the rules, the legal guardians or the natural guardians of the property of a minor are: number 1, father. Father here means natural father, and natural father means when the connection between the father and minor is of blood, that is of valid blood, means when the father was legally married with the mother of the minor, and from them the child is born or descended, then there will be a valid bond between father and the child, and therefore here father will be called as natural father or legitimate father of the child or true father of the child. And being the true father of the child, he is entitled to be the lawful or legal guardian of the property of a minor. Next to him is executor. His executor appointed by the father himself, means when the father in his lifetime writes a will, and in the will he makes the provision for executor, and someone is appointed to take care of the property, his property after his death, and such person is said to be the executor. And according to the Muslim law, in the absence of the true father, his executor will be lawful guardian of the property of a minor. After him or after them, that is in the absence of the father as well as executor of the father, Third in order of priority and preference, lawful guardian of the property of the minor is grandfather, that is father's father. And after father's father, the next in order lawful guardian of the property of a minor is executor appointed by the paternal grandfather. And in last, the executor of the last named, the executor of the grandfather. Thus, in Sunni law, the natural father is the first and best guardian of the minor's property. Failing him, other males in order of priority entitled to be the lawful guardians of the property of minor or other male relations, that may be father's executor of the father, then father's father, and then executor of the father. Here it should be clarified that Muslim law does not recognize any other relatives such as mother, uncle, brother as legal guardians. But the father or paternal grandfather of the minor may appoint through the will mother, brother, uncle or any other person as their executor, in which case they become the legal guardians of the property of the minor and will have the power of legal guardians in respect of the property of the minor. The court may also appoint any one of them as guardian of the property of the minor, in which case they will have all the powers of legal guardians of the property of the minor. Under the Hanafi law, the executor of the father appointed through will has a preference over the grandfathers. But Shia law does not agree with this, and according to the Shia law, the father cannot appoint an executor through will in the presence of lifetime of the grandfather, and thus grandfather will have the preference over the father's executor for the purpose of the guardianship of the property. According to another school of Sunni law, that is Shafi'i law, according to the Shafi'i law, grandfather has preferential right of the guardianship of the property of the minor over the father's executor over the matter of the property. So, here there is a little bit divergence of opinion that all the Sunni school, they are in agreement that father is the first and best legal guardian of the property of minor, and if he is there, then nobody can be the legal guardian of the property of minor, maybe the father's father or any other relative of the minor. According to the Hanafi law, since father is entitled to execute a will, and in the will he can designate someone as his representative after him, and such a representative is known as executor, and therefore Hanafi school is of the opinion that since the executor is the exact choice of the father, therefore exact choice of the father will have the priority and preference over the other relatives so far as the guardianship of the property of the minor is concerned. And therefore, if the father has made a choice of someone through his will appointing as executor of his property after his death, then the choice of the father will be given the preference over the rest of the relative, may be the grandfather. And therefore, if the executor has been appointed by the father in his lifetime, after him he will be the lawful guardian of the property of the minor. Even there may be a grandfather, but other school, that is Shia school and Safai school, do not subscribe to the view taken by the Hanafi school. Safai as well as the Shia school both are of the opinion that where grandfather is alive, executor of the father will not be or should not be considered as lawful guardian of the property, because after father the next natural father, because in the absence of the father, grandfather step into his shoes for most of the purposes. And therefore, when the grandfather is there after the death of the father, so any intermediary should not be allowed to step into the shoe of the father in respect of the guardianship of the property. Rather, it is very natural that the grandfather should be there, and therefore, they on the basis of the argument developed by the other school having regard to the natural relation of the grandfather with the minor, they Shia school and Safai school, they are of the opinion that in the absence of the father, grandfather should be considered as natural guardian of the property, not the intermediary known as executor. Anyhow, since in India Hanafi law is supposed to be the law of the land, therefore, normally it is said that after father his executor, and in the absence of father and his executor, grandfather comes at third in order of priority, and in the absence of all these three, the executor appointed by the last grandfather will be entitled to be the lawful guardian of the property of a minor. Now, the next and important point that arises for discussion is what are the powers of the lawful guardian or legal guardian of the property of a minor in respect of the alienation of movable or immovable properties of the, meaning thereby, can legal guardian or natural guardian of the property of the minor is empowered under any circumstance or in all circumstances to dispose of the property of the minor by sale, by gift, or by any other legally recognized means for alienation. Or simply he is caretaker and protector or supervisor of the property of the minor. Ladies and gentlemen, in this regard, our rule of Muslim law is very clear. As a general rule of Muslim law, a legal guardian of the property of a minor has no power to sell the immovable property of the minor. As a general principle, as a general rule, in ordinary course of the circumstances, whosoever is the legal guardian of the property of a minor, he is simply empowered to take the decision with regard to the care and protection of the property of the minor. But in ordinary course of the circumstances, for ordinary purposes, howsoever the purpose may be significant, is not allowed to take the decision for alienating the property of the minor. But against this general principle, there are few exceptions. Those few exceptions are known as exceptional circumstances, wherein the legal guardian of the property of a minor can dispose of the property of a minor by means of the sale, gift or otherwise. What are those circumstances? Permitting a minor to take the decision for the alienation of the property of a minor. Those circumstances are enumerated here one by one, and they are namely where he can obtain double of its value, means the property proposed to be sold will bring the double value in case sale is executed, and by selling it at double price, subsequently from that price double property may be acquired, will be acquired or can be acquired. So, meaning thereby with a view to multiply the property further, existing property can be sold. Therefore, the rule is that where he can obtain, means the guardian thinks that he can obtain the double value of the property. Say for example, suppose the property is 1 acre and its sale price in market is for example 1 crore rupees. But at the same time somebody is ready to pay 2 crore rupees. So, this will be the double price of the 1 acre of the land, and by getting the double price of for 1 acre, subsequently the guardian can purchase 2 acres of the land for the minors. So, here there is a possibility of multiplying of the property if the sale is allowed, and therefore, in this circumstance the law allows the natural guardian of the property or legal guardian of the property to take the decision for the sale or disposition of the property as permitted by law. Second is where the minor has no other property and the sale is necessary for his maintenance, because welfare of the child is paramount consideration. And therefore, guardian is required to take a decision. He can take all the decisions for the welfare of the child, and therefore, in the given circumstance, for the maintenance of the child, if nothing is left except some property, and the interest of the minor is likely to be jeopardized for non-availability of the sufficient fund, and it has become inevitable, sale of the property of the minor has become inevitable. Therefore, in order to protect the interest, overall interest of the minor for the maintenance of the minor, his property may be sold. Third is where there are debts of the deceased and no other means of paying them is available there, means there was a father of the minor and father died indebted, has left behind some property as well as the minor child. Creditors are claiming the unpaid debts. There is no any other financial resource with the natural guardian or executor, whosoever may be in the given circumstance. Then in this circumstance, in order to discharge the unpaid debt of the deceased father of the minor, the executor or the guardian of property of the minor is left with no option except to dispose of the property, and under such circumstance law allows him to take the decision for the sale of the property, and he can say in order to discharge the unpaid debt of the deceased father of the minor. Next is where there are legacies to be paid and no other means of paying is with them, that is with the guardian. Means that the father of the minor in his life executed a will. After his death, there is no any other thing to be given to the legatee pursuant to the will made by the deceased father. Then in that very circumstance, he can take a decision for selling the property of the deceased in order to pay the debt, in order to pay the claim of the legatee. So, for the payment or to satisfy the claim of the legatee, law allows the guardian of the property of the minor to sell it or to dispose of it. Next is where expenses exceed the income of the property, meaning thereby maintenance of the property requires more expenditure than the value of the property itself. Means value of the property is decreasing day by day, and maintenance of the property due to the attending facts and circumstances is increasing day by day. So, when there is a disbalance between the maintenance expenditure as well as income arising from the property, then in that very circumstance any ordinary person, man of the prudence, would like to dispose of the property, so the decision can be taken by the guardian of the property of a minor in this case. Where the property is falling into decay, means the property is destroying, devaluating, devastating, likely to devastate because of the attending facts and circumstances, then in that very situation a better option left with the guardian of the property of the minor is to dispose of it by sale, and he is allowed to dispose of such property which is likely to be destroyed due to its very delicate nature or situational existence. When the property has been usurped and the guardian has reason to fear that there is no chance of fair restitution, means the property has gone into the adverse possession of someone and he is in the settled possession, and guardian under the circumstance contemplate that even there is a remote possibility of its restoration from the usurper, then in that very situation, in order to save the property or to he is allowed to dispose of the property even in this. So, these are the certain exceptional circumstances where under the guardian of the property of a minor, whosoever may be the guardian in the given circumstance, is allowed by the Muslim law to take a fair decision for the disposal of the property of a minor, and the sale, if executed in such circumstances by the guardian of the property, that will be a valid sale and will also be binding even when the minor attains the age of puberty or age of majority. Therefore, these are the circumstances wherein the minor is allowed to dispose of the property. It may be noted that power of alienation in respect of the immovable property is limited in nature than that for the movable property. It is only in extreme necessity that he can sell the immovable property. However, the improper alienation made by the guardian of the property of a minor may be annulled by the minor on attaining the age of puberty or age of majority, that may be 18 years or 15 years. Normally in the matter of property, the age of majority is 18 years even under Muslim law. Therefore, any minor whose property has been disposed of by the guardian of the his guardian of the property, then on attaining the age of the majority, the minor can bring a suit impleading the vendee, and he can get the property back by legal process from the vendee. Ladies and gentlemen, Madras High Court in Sara Banu versus A.M. Asmatullah 2001 held that sale of minor's property by guardian as a general is wide ab initio. Guardian can sell the minor's property only in the extreme hardship or exceptional circumstances. The minor, after attaining the majority, can set aside the sale if it was found improper or without any valid reason it was executed by the guardian of the property of the minor. Then such sale will be liable to be annulled or cancelled on attaining the age of majority by the minor himself. So ultimately, sale of the property is allowed only when it is beneficial to the interest of the minor. This is the broader criteria to adjudge circumstance permitting to the guardian to take the decision for the sale of the property, and that criteria is broader criteria is, that is the welfare or benefit of the minor. In case of Imam Bandi versus Mutasaddi, in 1918 the Privy Council held that a legal guardian has power to sell or place the goods and chattels of minor for imperative necessity such as food, clothing or nursing of the minor. So again, the Privy Council in this case endorsed the view of Islamic jurisprudence that sale as a general rule is not allowed. However, it can be decision for sale can be taken by the guardian of the minor, property of the minor, only when it is imperative, when it is for imperative necessities of the minor, means for unavoidable things. If the situation are unavoidable, without sale of the interest of the minor is likely to be jeopardized. Such, for example, if there is nothing, there is no financial resource with the guardian of the property of the minor to feed him, there is no option, there is no financial resources with the guardian of the minor to make the necessary arrangement for the shelter of the minor, for the apparel of the minor, there is nothing with the property of the guardian of the property. In such situation, these are the imperative necessities of the minor, and in order to meet out these imperative necessities of the minor, if there is no other option except the disposing of the property of the minor, then minor can take the guardian of the minor can take the decision and can dispose of the property by means of the sale, and such sale will be considered as the sale executed by the guardian of the minor for the purpose of meeting out the imperative necessities of the minor in the given circumstance. So, this is all about guardian of the property of the minor. Who is the guardian of the legal guardian of the property of the minor? According to the Muslim law, order of the preference has been given to some of the person who may be naturally related to the deceased to the minor. Such person are the natural or the lawful legal guardian of the property of the minor, and they can or take the responsibility or can be given the responsibility. What is their power? That basically I have already explained that basic responsibility of the guardian of the property of the minor is to take the care and supervision of the property of the minor, to make it profit oriented for the future benefit of the minor. At the same time, as any ordinary man of the prudence in ordinary course of the circumstance is supposed to be careful about the property, in the same way he is supposed to be careful about the protection of the property. But as a general rule, in ordinary course of the circumstances, guardian of the property of the minor, whosoever may be, is not allowed to dispose of the property except for imperative necessities of the minor. Therefore, as and when guardian of the property of the minor is required in the given circumstance to take the decision for the alienation of the property of the minor, the decision must be holistic, that is it must be again for the larger future interests of the minor. Otherwise, sale will be improper and likely to be annulled by the minor on attaining the age of majority.